championships, there was 2018.2, and then ever since we moved it from January back to December, it's been a little weird. But either way, we're racing for a Stars and Stripes jersey for next year here in Lakewood as our single speed men make their way up to the line, and we are ready to get the final race of the day started here with Jake Wells getting the #1 call up for the single speed men as these guys take off. Meredith, this is what you looked like on the way, leaving the start line here, trying to spin out.
It looks pretty funny. I mean, there is absolutely nothing you can do except spin at 120, 130. I don't even feel like 100.
You smiled the entire time, though. So
well, because it's funny.
You were fully aware of how you looked, I know.
I totally was aware, and there's just nothing you can do about it. And that's the one time you're like, God, I wish I had a different gear. But so that's the thing about single speed. You guys might have already talked about it. Is like, you have to pick the parts of the course that you're going to set your gear for.
Right.
And so obviously the really hard parts of this course, you know you're going to run. So then the question is, are you setting up your gearing for the bottom part or up in the orchard? And the other thing that I learned a couple years ago when I did my first single speed race in Reno was that Adam Meyerson actually was the one telling me, when you're warming up, go 1 gear harder, because you're never going to warm up as fast as you're racing, and so you can go one gear harder. So it's always like that, you know. And some people will put a bike in the pit that maybe has a different gear, so that once you get out there, you're like, oh, I needed an easier or harder gear, and then you can do that bike switch.
All right, Ben Frederick up on the front. I want to go down to Dave Toll on course, who's got another guest. Dave, who do you have now?
Hey, thanks, Brad. Well, my favorite web series, The Wild Ride. We've got Max Chance with us. Max, I heard a new episode is going to drop. Now, you got a lot going on. Talk to me about, first off, what you're doing here. Are you racing tomorrow U23s, elites?
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be doing the elite category. I've been an elite. This is my second year racing, so second year racing in the elites. So yeah, excited for that. Skip the single speed race today and just gonna go have fun tomorrow in front.
Didn't skip the pants though.
The pants, yeah. I mean, some of our friends are racing the women's race, so just out here to sport, have fun, keep single speed fun again. So
awesome, Max. You know, it's been great watching all the Boulder kids out here racing. You were one of those kids just a few years ago. So Max ends up signing a professional contract, racing on the road with Wildlife Generation this year, and they had a web series built around the team. Was it fun being a part of that?
Yeah, it was definitely really fun. It was a little awkward at first, just having cameras pointing in your face.
It's like being on The Real World or something, right?
But yeah, I mean, sort of. I don't watch that kind of TV, but I assume that's what it is. Jersey Shore, 100%. But yeah, no, it was a really good time. They followed us to China, all over the world, so it was really definitely a unique look at behind the scenes in pro cycling and like what a bunch of kids are doing to try to race their bikes.
Yeah, you can go to cyclestream.tv to see the 4th episode, the Sea Otter episode, I guess, they're coming out with. So, hey, did it change your cycle? I mean, I know you as a kid, still a kid to me, Max, but as a young person, you raced a lot of cross. Did you tailor your season this year because of racing on the road? I mean, you did Tour of Utah.
Yeah, I did Tour of Utah and then did 20 race days afterwards in Asia. So I was racing, like Dave said, I raced only cross as a kid, signed a pro contract, then it was like, all right, all road bikes now. So I was racing in Japan till the 20th of October, and I've done 3 UCI race weekends before this. So feeling good, really fresh.
As fresh as you could be. Hey, Max, back me up on this. You know I love road racing too, right? We spend a lot of time there. Nothing beats this community, though. I feel it. It's been awesome. We had Rob DiMartini, the CEO of USA Cycling, with us. It's really nice to see him out here with the people. This is a good group, isn't it? Yeah,
it's awesome to be back in Washington. This is a good area. Like, there's a ton of good cyclocross racing here all year, and it's nice to be back in a spot that like really supports the sport, and like you can tell like everyone's come out to support. There's 1,700 people racing. Like, it's huge. The course is awesome. It's great. Yeah.
Hey, that's Max Chance. Thanks a lot, Max. As you know, again, go to cyclestream.tv and check out the 4th episode in what's been a lot of fun to follow, The Wild Ride. So, all right, everybody, back to you, Brad.
What a character. Endorsed by Max Chance.
Max Chance is a staple in Boulder, Colorado. It's a lot of fun to have him around. He always is entertaining.
All right, field is at the top of the course here. We saw Ben Frederick take the early lead, but I think Jake Wells is still up there as the parade continues on the run-up here.
You know, Ben Frederick, that's an interesting character to talk about. You know, a couple years ago, or a few years ago, I guess at this point, he was really starting to make his way up through the ranks in cyclocross, and then had some health issues, injuries, whatever, kind of took some time off, and he's just now coming back this season and has been lining up for some UCI races this year and has been doing really well. So it's really great to see him at the pointy end of the race today.
I believe it was a TBI for Ben Frederick that he was coming back from.
Yeah, he was really struggling with that, and you know, those are, as we all know, I think we all know somebody who's had a TBI, and we all know that that's not something to mess around with. And he realized he needed to take some time off and just shut things down for a little bit until he was healthy. And now look at him now. He's back and racing hard.
There's always another race to do.
Yeah.
Including in national championships. But we got to get back to the racing right now. This is nuts. There are 154 registered riders on course. Every single one of them is probably having fun right now, I'm guessing. It's hard to say.
Well, if you're not having fun, then there's no reason to be out here in this race, because unless you're outside of the top 5, I think that's the only reason to be in a field of 100 and some racers, is just to go out and have fun.
Shred the downhills, try and eat a little bit less gnar every time you crash. Jake Wells there in second position, ratcheting down that descent. Frederick there.
Ben Frederick still leading this out.
Foot out. Looks like Jake Wells pedaling around the corner there. You know, he's got quite a few laps under his belt from racing earlier this week, winning that national title once again. And he is right back up on that wheel. He wants this thing big time.
How many races is it for Jake this week? Is this only a second, or did he do any of the non-championship races?
He didn't do the industry race, I know that.
Industry? Yeah.
So maybe he did something earlier. I'm trying to figure out how many stars he's got on that kit.
Is that one for every championship he's won? I don't know. He's won quite a few.
The 72 United States of America jersey by Jake Wells. We had a really good time calling the women's race because the culture of single speed was on full display at the front of the race with Sarah Sturm battling Emily for the win. The men's race has a bigger mix of, like, are you really just doing this for fun, or is this like, or are you laying down the watts because you've been training your butt off in your basement for this thing? What is the difference out there between the culture of single speed at its core versus like the need for speed?
Well, I think at the front of both of these races, you can see that these guys are not just the single speed racers. They're doing other races too, and it was the same in the women's race. I would most of the time, these in the women's race, the ones at the front of the race are racing the normal geared UCI races, and then they like to come out for the single speed races because it's fun, or it's a chance to see a course, or it's a chance to get in some efforts and open up before the elite race the next day. And so it's the races at the pointy end that are usually doing other races throughout the season too.
I don't know if I could consider opening up when I'm like weightlifting while riding a bike on some of these steep climbs.
That is true.
I mean, that is.
How many matches do you want to burn before the elite race?
Yeah.
And so maybe it's the people who don't know that they are going to have a chance in the elite race at a podium that are willing to come out and burn some of those matches today.
But it's awesome to ride this course. Like, this course is just so fun. I mean, any chance you have to do more laps, you just want to take it. It's got that much to offer.
Yeah, you just have to be careful that you don't overdo it, because it is really energy sucking, that's for sure.
I don't think anybody's surprised to see these two leaders up on the front. Ben Frederick and defending champion Jake Wells, 1 and 2 right now as they knock out their first lap, just under 9 minutes. Not bad on a single speed. And looks like Wells is pretty comfortable sitting second wheel here, Meredith.
I think that this is going to become quite a tactical race right now. These guys are just, I mean, not just, it looks like they're just kind of sitting back a little bit right now. I mean, granted, when you've only got one gear, you can only go so fast on the straight section. But you know, right now they're just kind of taking it easy, eyeing each other up, and waiting for the hard parts of the course to do its thing and make that natural separation.
You know, I got to say, the cyclocross community is so giving with their time, and they're so giving with the things that they value the most. You know, when you make an ask of your community members, when you're in trouble, you need a little bit of help, and people come out of the woodwork to help. The organization here is amazing, you know, working so hard. They've been doing this course, building this course for almost 10 days in advance of this race. And for them to take time out of their busy afternoon to come over and give us some help and refreshments here in the broadcast booth, greatly appreciated. We thank you very much.
In case you couldn't tell, someone just brought Tim a cookie. And he's very excited about it.
I'm pretty happy about that. I like cookies.
Take a bite of that cookie right now.
So these two still up on the front. I think Wells has moved up to the front here, but it looked like when they were coming through the start-finish line, was he pushing Ben Frederick? Did he have his hand on his back?
Well, I think he was starting to move
nudge.
into the fence a little bit, just letting them know that he was here.
So third place, Andrew Loaiza, medal cycling from Portland, Oregon. We've got another, I just missed on the right. It's like 705 maybe. I'll try and get some of these numbers. There's Justin Robinson and Anthony Clark right there.
Nice.
Squid
Yeah.
bikes. Anthony Clark back on the bike. He did single speed worlds and is now back here at the national championships on a single speed. I had a chance to talk to Anthony yesterday, and it was like a breath of fresh air. So good to see him back on a bike, unable to put together a full calendar of racing, and his awesome Squid Bikes team is just the best, because they have got such a cool vibe with everything that they do, whether they're riding or they're building bikes or whatever it is. And Anthony's out there ripping this course apart, I am sure.
Jake Wells is going to go into the pit. He'll take a new bike. And Frederick is going to try to seize the opportunity here. He stays on the outside of the pit and steps on the gas a little bit when he sees Wells going into the Shimano pits here.
Yeah, I'm curious why Jake went in. We were talking about, gearing a little bit earlier, so I don't know, maybe if he just had a bike in the pit that had a different gear on it, so he just wanted something maybe a little bit harder, a little bit easier from what he was riding. Because I don't think he was going in because he needed to get a bike because it was too muddy. It's easy to get through a race without having to do a bike change for any mud purposes. Maybe at a flat, who knows. But I was thinking that in the elite races tomorrow, it's possible that they could choose to specifically go through the pit lane because it's a little bit faster.
And we are getting great shots of the migration of the male cyclocross single speed racer getting up to the riverbank, trying to decide if they want to cross it. And sorry, I'll stop with the analogy of the African game park, whatever it is. But no, I mean, there's so many people on course. This is crazy. You've got 150 riders out there. You've got two really taking this race by the scruff of the neck and just, shaking it side to side. You got Loaiza here in third. Kind of a lonely spot right now. Looks like he's chased there maybe 7:15, 7:11. The gold pants, though, looks like he's taking the dollar bill line.
He's crushing it up. But yeah, where are the dollar bills for these guys? I think the women got
There's Clark right there. Clark racing it for the corner.
Putting the elbows out, not letting anyone by.
This is a race right here. Clark just getting back on it, ready to hammer. I caught a glimpse of Justin Robinson, second place in the Masters race the other day.
Talking about, so how many, do you know how many years Justin Robinson has been going to nationals?
So I believe it is 1992 was the first one.
That's crazy. I was talking to him about it the other day, and it's well over 20. And then my next question was, how many of those years have you stood on the podium? And I bet it's most.
Many, many. Starting as a junior, and that was even before the age categories really split up even more. Under 23 wasn't around yet. I mean, he is one of the first people that I knew in cyclocross when I started in 1995. And yes, I started cyclocross in 1995. But yeah, I mean, it's you got great communities. Santa Cruz is one of those places where cross really caught on. Northern California was always such a big scene. They had a lot of racers who would try and go to Europe to compete, learn what it's really like to race at the highest level. And they have continued on with that vein. Got some great races so far this week. Clark going into third place here. He's going into a podium spot.
Yep.
he might have a chance to get up to these two riders.
Oh, here comes Wells trying to
coming.
get by Frederick. Wells definitely wants to get to the front of this one, but
let him
Frederick's
down.
not letting it happen. Great riding from Ben Frederick here and an awesome view from up above.
That was great. You can really see how the riders get their elbows out, start bumping each other around. They're not afraid. In my race, another rider and I were coming in neck and neck and just had the elbows out. And you can see here how Jake is really kind of coming in with a lot of speed, and you can see that high cadence, and he just wants to make that pass before they go into that descent, but Ben just picks it up again, and he is not letting him around.
Yeah. You could see Frederick could feel it right there. He could feel Jake Wells' wheel right on him, so moved over to the right a little bit, closed the door, closed the line, and defended his lead. Great riding from Ben Frederick up here at the front.
Yeah, again, I'm really, really happy to see Ben Frederick back. I mean, I love both of these guys. Jake Wells is just a fixture and such a role model in the sport. He's brought up a lot of other athletes, a lot of young riders. And then Ben Frederick, again, as we mentioned, just coming back from a TBI and coming back into his first season after a really big injury like that, and seeing him race like this is really amazing. I'm really happy for him.
And he's keeping Wells in second position. He's got a foot out in a lot of these corners. He's really putting it in there. You know, tire selection, you might have a mud tire, it gets a little bit more grip in the corners, but might be slower in the straightaways. It's kind of worth it if you want to go super fast. Jake really keeping an eye on him. You know, he's got a lot of tactical awareness. He has gone on to win races that he didn't necessarily seem like he was going to run away with it, but he decided, I'm going to do this tactically and I'm going to win at the end of the race. Definitely got a lot of skill in that way.
Yeah, Jake is a crafty rider, and he also comes from altitude. So, you know, being down here at sea level is always a little bit of an advantage. You kind of feel that when you can breathe deep, take a big breath full of oxygen.
Well, you know, I don't think that we can say altitude or like came from altitude when we're talking about single speed. This is like, I mean, this is.
We're more concerned with who came from Portland.
We want to see
from altitude.
No, we want to see that guy. That earlier shot, that guy walking up this climb. Yeah, this guy.
This is the guy we want to see.
We want to see this guy. Thank you so much.
Well, this is a Chicago rider. I know the Half Acre Club well. Remember, we're headed to Chicago.
Jack Crow, good work. He's got the cutoff color.
This guy has it all. He's got jorts. He's got a beer sponsor on his jersey. That's what Half Acre is, and he's got a single speed. Doesn't get much better than that.
And the plumber's crack is just that's
a bonus.
It's a bonus.
I wasn't going to make that comment, but
yeah, this is like cross. Yeah, at the front, incredibly fast, skilled, trained, all of that stuff. But
these guys are going to see 3 laps to go on the counter, so they're going to get 5 in today.
Got a little bit gap there.
This is becoming, wow, look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, this is becoming quite a tactical race here. I don't know what happened. I'm surprised there's a gap here.
Yeah, those zoom lenses can be deceptive when you zoom in all the way. It kind of shallows the depth of field a little bit. So this is good to see from up above from the drone, as Wells is getting gapped just a little bit here by Ben Frederick, but it's 15, maybe 20 meters up to Frederick here.
And that's a lot harder to close than you think it is, especially when you get to the run-up and they look like they're right there in front of you, and then you realize how far away they are on a steep climb like that, and then they get up and over the top, and then they're gone. I think Ben Frederick is really motivated today. He's going to give it everything he's got. He's just going to keep pushing and pushing, and really, you know, I mean, put Jake Wells on the back foot here. Make him have to chase.
We got gold pants in 5th, I think. That's about 5th place, right behind Laraza. Yeah, Jake Wells really getting gapped off here in this run-up. The gap started at the front straight, and then it looks like a really strong run by Frederick opened that gap up big time.
I just want to point one thing out, not a criticism here, and it's not as big of a concern with the single speed, but you see how well slammed the bike down. When he got to the top, they have to be really careful. We saw a couple drop chains decide races here this week. So just a little thing that I noticed for Jake Wells up top. But again, with a single speed, not that big of a deal. If you get the tension right, you probably shouldn't be dropping a chain anyway.
Yeah, chain's not going to come off.
Yeah, I mean, this is the bike you could slam down and when you want to get back on it.
Frederick's got a great gap here. This guy is awesome.
Yeah, he is looking smooth. I mean, he looks like he's in control now. I think you're seeing a little bit of, you know, Jake is in a position he's not usually in where he's having to chase. So that puts some pressure on people who start making mistakes that they're not usually used to doing because they don't like being in that situation.
We ID the gold pants guy, number 130, Paul Feistel from here in Seattle, University Place. And good to know that we've got this good mix. We had the blue shiny pants in the women's elite race, women's single speed race with our second place rider. Yep. And so now he's in 5th with gold shiny pants. So what's the correlation between those results? I mean, is he supposed to get back up to 2nd?
I don't even know where to buy shiny pants like that. I mean, if I wanted a pair, I wouldn't even know where to start.
You just Google gold shiny pants.
I'm gonna have to ask that guy. Here you go.
Oh boy. That's an optional read.
You know what? This is single speed. This is single speed on the internet, and it's the last race of the day.
Anything goes. Anything goes in single speed.
I mean, this is super fun, right, guys? I mean, is this an on-field interview? Is this fun? Would you just yell, like, raise your hand, give me a high five, give me a thumbs up? You got
I don't think they can
on
hear
the left. So I texted the guy on the left, Tim Coughlin, formerly of Rafa, to bring over some coffees to the broadcast, and he didn't do it. So he's now, you know.
All right, thanks for nothing,
blacklisted.
Tim. Yep.
Wait, so who's pulling shots over at the Rafa booth right now then? If Tim's not there.
I don't know.
I don't know. Did they shut down for the day?
I see Jenny Robinson waiting for Justin. Jenny also a sometime participant in the national championship. She's been watching and supporting Justin in all of his races, but she's very interested in Justin coming around the corner.
For as many national championships that Justin's been to, Jenny's been there as
every single one. Right?
Yeah, just as many.
So just saw Anthony Clark up to the top. More baggies. I don't know what that guy just tossed back to the crowd.
7.75.
I think that was maybe a reverse hand up. Not sure.
I'm glad we got a number.
Here we go. The taco time guy.
Taco time. It looks like it's about taco time right now.
Stefan DeVoust from Durango, giant rider. So he is the rider, kind of wearing that like tux-looking button-up with the white collar in about 4th place, just behind Anthony Clark.
He is the Colorado state champion, by the way.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay. Thank you. We got Midwest Velo there on the left, Cycling House. Right down the middle. Yeah, we enjoy getting this look. You know,
I like a good.
These riders are. I consider these riders to be underexposed. You know.
So we were talking about this as a family sport. That was Brian Ledzinski going up there. Yeah. So we were talking about his daughter Hayden earlier. His son Vin will be racing, or did race, or will be racing tomorrow. Yeah, 17-18 tomorrow. So again, whole family affair out there. That's Ryan Wren, my coworker from Rafa, going through in the orange. I think this is his 3rd race this week after racing his age group, and I think a non-championship race as well. That's what I needed to go with my outfit.
Yeah.
Well, that's
a Vanderkitten jersey on.
Have not seen that at a cross race before. That's all of us are kind of getting closer to the screen to see all of these riders up close. You know what?
There's a good kid.
Yeah, that was a great kid.
Ben Frederick, ironically, has the least exciting jersey of anyone in the race, but he's at the front of this race.
Right.
Oh, he's killing it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, anyone who's in the race, watching the race, has even watched any of the other races, knows how hard Ben is going, how fast he's going, how well he's riding. But at the same time, you can't help but be distracted by all the other things going on. I'm sorry, Ben. We apologize, but yet this is happening.
You know what? This is what Ben Frederick would want. This is the way that he would want us to call his race.
What would
I don't
Ben
know him
want?
super well, but yeah, I think we're doing Ben proud today. This is single speed. This is single speed commentary.
Just goes to show how serious some people still take single
That's right.
speed.
Well, I feel like our stats department is kind of letting us down. We're not getting as much of these hard-hitting, you know, really in-depth stats that would help us with this broadcast, you know? We want to know, you know, all these backstories with these guys.
Tweet us. You can be our virtual stats crew.
Add some depth to this,
Yeah.
please.
Got any jokes? We'll take those. Whatever you got.
So these must be the guys in what, right around the 100th place?
Yeah,
or
I
something
think we're in the
this
triple
race?
digits now.
Definitely 3 digits.
I can't figure out if they're pulling riders or not. I don't think they are. Although Ben
I hope
hasn't
not.
gone through any lap traffic
Oh,
yet. He's
I think-
25 minutes in, so I don't know. I don't know if they're pulling riders down there or
Well,
not.
Jake is coming back. Jake is at the start of the sand pit, and he looks like he's making up some ground, some serious ground. So that's inside 5 seconds. And, you know, I don't know if you noticed, but Ben Frederick has a derailleur on there, but it's blocked out.
Nice.
Or at least a chain tensioner. I don't want to make it seem like he's.
It's probably
you know,
a chain tension.
Okay.
I'm going to guess.
Yeah, no, it looks like it.
What
Looks
do you
like
think
it
these
is, yeah.
guys are, what kind of gear do you think these guys are running? I think Jake said a 42.18.
42.18.
And what did you run?
38.17.
About 67 gear inches. Total guess. Definitely don't know that. I don't know. I mean, now that a lot of riders are using a single front chainring, it's easier to imagine what a gear actually means. For a long time, this was like totally unknown. It was like you had a translation, you know, book to look at and figure it out, but this is totally different.
I do want to point out that Frederick is rocking canties. He has cantilever brakes out there, which if you were going to pick a course to ride canties, this probably wasn't the best one. I'm a big fan of cantilever brakes. I don't think, you know, disc brakes absolutely make a difference. I don't think most people need disc brakes, but we got to get Ben Frederick some disc brakes for the way that this guy
Definitely.
rides.
Well, if he pulls this win off today, I think somebody's going to be wanting to pick this guy up for the team, and then most likely he'll get a disc brake fight.
I will personally introduce him to someone at Shimano to see if we can get him a kit from the pit or something. Well, it just goes to show you it's not about the equipment.
It is not. It's about the rider. And, you know, everybody up on the descents are, no brakes, no brakes. So I guess it doesn't really matter if you're able to just send it anyway.
Yeah, for those watching at home, you know, we love an interactive audience. People are tweeting in, asking what's going on. Anthony Clark here ripping across the finish line here in third position. Is that 127 RPM?
131, I think.
Yeah, that's he is ripping along. You know, he's known for riding rollers before and after work. When he was racing a full schedule, I know that he was really excited to have a couple races to look forward to, because he was like, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to get on the rollers and I'm just going to ride. And if anyone follows Anthony on social media, he is awesome for stories, because he just lets it roll, whatever it is, but he has a way with the camera. It feels like you're there with him. And it's awesome to see him out here racing. And it's great to see him at the bottom of the run-up as he comes around the corner. So he's got Jake Wells in view.
Frederick is right. Took a while to clip into the right pedal.
Yep.
Probably just some mud in there.
There's Clark.
We'll keep an eye on it.
So I was talking to Emily Kachorik, the owner and manager of Squid, and we were talking about Anthony and the fact that he's out here racing. And I think, you know, when she first mentioned to him racing Singlespeed Nationals, he was kind of like, yeah, you know, for someone like him, it's hard to come out to Nationals and not be racing the elites, because that's where he would normally be. But he actually went and did the Singlespeed World Championships and had so much fun that after that he's like, all right, sign me up, I'll be there.
I mean, this is awesome. You've got the unbuttoned button up, and I'm glad we have a graphic to go with the Vaus here. This is solid. The collar, however, it needs to be starched. I mean, look at that thing. It's flopping all over the place.
There we go, another highlight reel moment.
And is he wearing Bluntstones? I can't really tell if he's actually got cycling shoes on.
Who taught DeVoust how to pin a number?
No, that's the V formation. That's no, he's absolutely top 5.
Yeah, DeVoust sitting in 4th place right now. Meanwhile, Wells pitting. And again, Frederick decides to skip it. So Ben Frederick has not pitted the entire race. Wells has pitted twice.
Brad, I bet it's pedals. You know, getting in and out. A lot of this mud, you might have a stick or something, or like a little rock in your shoe. Makes it really hard to get in and out. But we've got those are challenges that every single one of these riders is facing. Are those more jorts?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They look like dad jeans.
Yeah.
I was going to go with those today, but mine were a little too short. I thought, I didn't think the Daisy Dukes
Daddy
that
Dukes, I think they're
appropriate.
called.
Dukes, I like that.
Justin on the right, black jersey. He's run up this thing quite a few times. You know, you got to question someone's mental state when they're like, sure, I'll just go ahead and ride as fast as I can and run up a muddy hill over and over and over again.
In the cold.
In the cold.
Sign me up.
Yeah, sign me up.
But just saw Anthony Clark going over the flyover. He is just 10 seconds behind 2nd place, in 3rd place right now. That is Clark right there on your screen. So Anthony Clark is charging towards the front. He may be making contact with Jake Wells here pretty soon.
Yeah, if they look back, they might actually just see him now. So he's not taking a dollar.
This is a
all
man on a
in
mission
right now. Look at it, he's just like a bull in the china shop going up that climb right now.
We never said you had to look pretty doing it. You just got to get the job
However
done.
it works.
Intensity is his middle name. I feel like there's nothing that he can't do when he's as focused as he is in a moment like this. So, yeah, if he can get any closer, I think he might be in for a sniff at actually getting to the front. You know, who knows? This is a really tough course. Jake Wells going for the lead change.
Yeah, just made
passing
the pass.
Frederick.
That is Ben Frederick.
Wow.
Wells made it look so easy passing, and I thought that might have been a lapped rider, but that is Wells passing Ben Frederick.
Yeah, that's the, oh yes, wow. He definitely came by with speed. Oh.
What is happening to Ben Frederick now?
Oh no, is he cracked or is he have a mechanical?
It's,
This looks like a biomechanical to me.
I mean, my legs hurt watching him right now. I feel like
it almost looks like something is rubbing on the bike or something.
Well, it's, you know, the gear selection also looks like it's a difference between the way Jake is riding on this uphill. I mean, he's got some RPMs to work with. Ben does not.
You know, I wonder if he just went too deep, too early.
Yeah, he could have gone dudes.
We have some armchair quarterbacks all over the internet watching to figure out exactly what that looks like, but we're in the same boat as you. We can only guess. This drone shot brought to you for your enjoyment to get a look at these riders on a section of the course that it feels like a totally different course. When you get up to this part, it just keeps going up and up and up and up. You've got Fort Silicon right there in the top left-hand corner of this screen. And it's like one of the biggest hills that we've had in the Cyclocross Nationals. I mean, really, for elevation gain, it's a pretty big one.
No, I was just thinking that, you know, Jake Wells could have potentially had a bike in the pit with a slightly easier gear that, I don't know, if he's, you know, as you get 3 laps into a race and you really start feeling the fatigue, I don't know, maybe that's a tactical decision that he made, or maybe Frederick is just falling apart, or just had some sort of mechanical issue. It's hard to say.
Well, you know, if you're talking about Masters racers, let's imagine that everyone here is a Masters racer. You want to sell them something? You want to sell them a bike with a smaller gear 30 minutes into a single speed race? They'll pay whatever it takes.
Yeah.
They're like, $10,000, yes, I will go for that bike with an easier gear. I'm in.
It's like selling beer at a baseball game. Nowhere else would you pay $14 for a Bud Light, but.
Well, starting to catch a lot of lapped riders now. Going back into the pits for another bike change.
Whoa. That was almost. It happens.
He's got the guys from the Alpha bicycles in the pit working for him today.
Jake.
Lots of lap riders out there now.
But every one of them is going to be like, go, man, go.
Yep.
You got this. Great job. Don't crash me. I mean, he's going double their speed for sure.
And here's Frederick just now coming through the pits. He didn't go into the pit, so it's not a mechanical. Or it's a mechanical that can't be solved in the pit. But everything looks okay on the bike to me. He was having some trouble with his pedals and shoes
this is a
earlier.
hard part
And this is not good. This is why they pull riders in the race.
No,
it's a bummer for the riders getting pulled, but now Wells has to work through this traffic. Big advantage for Ben Frederick here, although I don't think he's going to have the tanks trying to come back.
This is so good. This is like when you get amongst people who are watching you ride past them, it's a great feeling for the rider like Jake. I mean, he feels like $1 million every time he passes someone, but it's really cool to be right there with the guy that's going to win the race. I mean,
for a split second.
Yeah, for a split second. It's awesome because then they're going to watch him do this next section and be like, wow. How did you do that?
They're like, oh, I never thought about that line before.
By the way, getting some questions about Jake Wells wearing the Stars and Stripes jersey. Sort of a new rule implemented this year. They're allowing national champions to race in the Stars and Stripes jersey if you want in defense of the jersey. I like it. I like seeing who's the guy to knock down, who is everyone targeting. So I like seeing the defending champion out there in the jersey.
The origin story of that initiative was directly related to Rob DiMartini as a newcomer to competitive cycling at this level. He wondered why the defending national champ wasn't wearing the jersey at the race where the next one would be awarded. And he's like, well, it just kind of makes sense that Jake Wells, if he lost in this jersey, then the next person would pull it on, and it would be an obvious exchange, an obvious transition from previous year's winner to this year's winner. So it's great to see it in place.
Sorry to jump in, Tim. Got some insider information here. Ben Frederick's team is walking around the pit right now looking for a new shoe for him. So Frederick has a shoe problem, but they don't have a spare. So they're trying to find a spare shoe that fits him and has the right cleat to interface with his pedal system.
Anybody?
Oh, that's tough.
Anybody?
That's really tough.
Can we get all points bulletin for...
I wonder if his cleat came loose or something and he can't get back into his pedal, or a boa or something.
Well, I mean, I hope it's not a boa, which really means that it's your fault because you're using, a system that if you crash, it pops open. But I've had a national championships where the cleat at the bottom of my shoe came loose, and I had to ride 4 laps with a loose cleat, and I couldn't clip in, and it was brutal.
Yeah.
So if that's the problem right now for Ben Frederick, I feel terrible for him, and I hope he's able to get a solution. But this race is going to be over before you know it.
Yeah, years ago I was racing the Zolder World Cup, and there's a really steep run up there, and so we all had toe spikes in, and one of my toe spikes came out, and there was a little plastic piece that was spinning around that was held in just by the one toe spike. So I had to actually go into the pit and have my mechanic, Troy Laffey, rip the other one out with pliers so that I could actually get into my pedals because it kept spinning around and I couldn't clip in.
That must have been a sight to see in the pits.
I was not happy.
Anthony Clark here getting down the descent. That run up for him, he really puts every ounce of energy into it. Clark now being in second place, passing Frederick. So that shoe problem, as you mentioned, Brad, is holding him back from even protecting that second place. Never mind catching Jake Wells, but looks like he is running the single pedal position. Single speed, single pedal. You guys got it?
He misread the flyer.
I thought I signed up for the single pedal race.
That's like the meme. You guys are getting paid for this? All right, Wells going to go back to the pit one more time. I think he's pitted every lap, every time through. I guess if you have the spare bike, you got a good pit crew, you've been rehearsing the exchanges, you might as well take a fresh bike.
Certainly don't need to. Yeah. I never felt once like I needed to change my bike Jake out there, but
would you say that pit lane is a whole lot easier than the main course?
Yes, so for tactical reasons, yes. If you want to have a smoother line, then absolutely. And I was thinking about that more for the elite races tomorrow, that there could be more people pitting, especially if the conditions change, that they could go and pit just because it's a faster
Anthony
line.
Clark,
here comes
second place. He's getting close.
Be interesting to see if he can do it in one lap.
Now it's half a lap. So Anthony Clark now charging for the front. If he's able to keep making up time, you know, that looked to me about, what, 15 to 20 second gap. You got Emily Kachorik right there screaming at Anthony, hope you get it, hope you get that jersey, hope you get that win. So he's passing lap riders left and right here. And if he can keep moving forward, and if Jake starts to feel like his legs are hurting, if he starts to feel like this isn't, you know, feeling that great, then that's going to be a great opportunity for Anthony.
Yeah, he is charging. He's on a mission right now, and if Jake keeps potentially getting caught up in lapped riders, we see Mitch Hope there, Justin Robinson, lots of guys making their way up this hill slowly but surely. There's Ryan Wren again from San Francisco. I can feel their pain. I still feel the pain in the burn from this climb.
Did not change his bike, he changed his shoes.
So we're going to get you guys some images as best as we can here, and we've got some riders here who are also out there, maybe not battling, but definitely riding. In this case,
It's their own personal battle.
yeah, they're questioning why they're here, and that is something that happens to everyone at some point in the race.
All right, guys, good news. They found a spare shoe for Ben Frederick, but he's only got a half lap to go
Maybe
here.
a little too late.
And laces.
It's
Both
gonna be-
pairs of shoes have laces.
Good luck. Yeah,
That won't
that's
be
gonna
a
be a tough
fast
switch.
Okay, Bo is fine then, I guess.
We'll see if he changes it. It might be cool to see a guy try and switch a shoe in the pit. Not as cool as watching spikes get ripped out of a shoe, but
Which, yeah, that happens a lot. Definitely been there. So this is the best part about drones. We can make it camera numbers 4 through 12, no problem. You can just fly around and pick the right spot to shoot. Anthony Clark here in second, standing up in the last lap of a cross race. This is what freshness will do for you. He hasn't been racing out much this year, spending a lot more time with his family and work at home, and absolutely killing it in doing so. And it's so cool to see him up in the top 3, maybe even having a chance to catch this guy, Jake Wells. But it looks like he's going to get down this descent, and you know, from there to the finish is not that far. So that gap might be too much for Clark to close.
see the foundation of one of the buildings at historic Fort Steilacoom there, just above Jake Wells as he rides across the top of the course. It's about as far away from the start-finish line as they get, as we go back to unzipped DeVos.
It's making me cold right now.
It's making me uncomfortable.
Out of the danger zone now. It's all pedaling to the finish.
Wells looking better and better here with each passing minute. So again, the big question is, does Ben Frederick go into the pit for the last opportunity?
Yeah.
Clark ripping it down the descent.
Emphatic rut finding right there. He's just smashing that front tire into the rut.
Like I said, a bull in a china shop.
All right, so here goes Jake Wells. He will not pit.
Everything's got to go perfect.
Get some information
So he
from
shook
his
his
pit
head
crew.
when they asked him a question. It was something.
Well, I think the pit crew said thank you for not switching, because then we'd have to wash another bike. But Anthony racing the World Championships last year in Bogense, Denmark, and it's so cool to have another race to go to. Like you mentioned, Meredith, it's tough to transition from one type of racer. Like, I am an elite racer, I race at the top level, versus I'm out there racing because it's super fun. But, you know, I think for someone like Anthony, he represents a lot of people who are like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to try and do it, and I'm going to make it the best I can.
Yeah, I think Anthony, for Anthony, it was, like we said, it was hard for him to come out here and not be part of the elite race because that's normally where he would belong. But I bet you he's probably saying that he's happy he was here. He gets to see a lot of his fans, a lot of his friends, old teammates, and so it's still kind of like one big happy family. Even though he won't be racing tomorrow, I think he's probably still been pretty happy to be here.
15 seconds for him. Not much time to go. Jake Wells is going to be finishing just in a few seconds here. Clark going through the sand pit. Wells, he knows he's being chased. He knows he's being run down by Anthony Clark, but he's going to have the chance to do it. I think he's going to be able to get to these final couple corners and then onto the pavement. And with a little bit of a gap, it's going to be enough for him to maintain this jersey. Coming in as #1, wearing the Stars and Stripes. Now, with that finish line coming his way, Anthony Clark gritting his teeth.
Clark digging deep, man. This last half of this race has been really good for Anthony Clark here, and it's looking like he's going to have a second place waiting for him. Meanwhile, Jake Wells comes off the dirt onto the pavement, and he's going to repeat as Singlespeed Men's National Championship. Grab a coffee, he'll be at the finish line in about 8 minutes. The long pavement run to the finish as it all sets in for Jake Wells. Repeat national champion for the Form presented by IRC Tires team. He gets another one here in Lakewood.
Do we know how many consecutive wins he's had?
I don't. I should.
I should too. I mean, it's several, right? This is, I wonder how far back he goes.
Look at that.
Yeah, Anthony Clark happy.
Big smile.
Yeah.
There he is. Nice. Second place, Anthony Clark from the Squid Squad. Coming from Western Massachusetts, flying all the way out here to rip it up.
Nice.
That's
totally
what I love to
psyched
see. Yeah.
for Jake Wells.
And DeVos on his way in now. But congratulations between Clark and Wells, and here's the race for third. Frederick is going to have a shot at a bronze medal. He's going to make it past DeVos. He caught him off guard. Oh, DeVos wasn't ready for it.
The new shoe.
Frederick is going to get a third place finish here.
Back onto the podium, saving that third place medal, Ben Frederick. He changed his shoe, people. We have photographic evidence of a shoe change where the cleat looks like it came off the sole of the shoe. And so he grabbed a spare shoe from someone else.
Yep. And it looks like he's missing a toe spike as well.
So that's untying a shoe, changing, and then retying the shoe that you put on. I mean,
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, that
was harder than the race.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Beat DeVos to the line. He's going to have to settle for fourth place, although I don't know
he
that
is all dressed up and nowhere to go. He's got nothing but fourth place in his future.
Bill Shagan asking Ben Frederick, what happened?
What happened?
What happened to your shoe, dude?
Is that just part of the costume? You have two different shoes on?
Early podium contender Loaza, Andrew Loaza from Metal Cycling, Portland, Oregon.
Please don't.
Cross.
I think this guy is pre-riding. You got to be kidding me, man. Come on.
Now popping that collar, not good enough for the podium, but it's giving it a shot. Now the pre-ride crew is starting, so I see some of the elite riders.
Yeah,
under 23, 17, 18.
Finish line. That's
you
good.
Can't pre-ride while there's guys finishing. I mean, I know it's single speed and everything, but hey, some of the hardest working people in the business. I want to give a shout out to everyone in the pits today. Even if you're not a pro mechanic, if you spend an hour in the pits supporting a rider today, props, bravo. You are the people that make this sport happen.
Oh, absolutely. Without the support crew, it just wouldn't work, you know. And again, going back to the BJC crew, who has 27 kids here, most of whom raced today. Let me tell you how busy that crew was, running back and forth. And it's not just washing bikes while they're in the pits, but it's after every pre-ride lap. It's in between races. It's absolutely nonstop. So for all the staff and support teams that are out here, thank you.
I'm just glad I don't have to pay the water bill here at the park.
I actually washed my own bike yesterday. Does that matter? Does that count for something? Can I get into that crew
Tim, we've
of
been
people?
doing that for years, man. Us normies have been doing that our entire lives.
Have you ever worked in a pit?
I've been in a pit before.
I've been in a pit.
Every time I needed a new bike. Now, that finish line scrum is it's a nice addition to have all the other fresh, clean racers, you know, not muddy, not out of breath, not sweaty. They're out there mixing it up too.
Well, it was a good one today in the single speed men's race with a chaotic start as the guy spun out. About 8 seconds into this sprint is where you max out the gearing.
I'm just laughing because that feeling of just going so hard and feeling like you're going nowhere was just laughable.
Well, Ben Frederick went hard early on with Jake Wells on his wheel as they battled at the front for the first half of the race. Wells at one point didn't look real worried about Frederick. In fact, just put a little hand on his back as he was starting to come over. So for a while, it looked like these guys were going to go wire to wire, start to finish, and sprint it out at the end. Wells was changing bikes every lap, but we almost never saw Ben Frederick go into the pit until he had to, with a shoe problem causing an issue for Ben Frederick. Is right here he loses the lead, and this was because of the shoe. He was having trouble getting power over. Only one shoe was clipped in, so he had a long run back to the pit, and Jake Wells took full advantage as he stepped on the gas, and the final time through the pit took one last bike change, and at that point Wells knew that he had it as he picks up another national championship for the single speed men. The form presented by IRC Tires team. Congratulations to Jake Wells today. And congratulations to all of our single speed riders. That was fun as heck.
Both of those races were so great. I love that. You're so right.
Well, just all day we've seen some really good racing from, well, you guys didn't see the industry races this morning, but then we, sorry, Tim, but then we went right into all the little mini juniors, all the littles, and saw some really fun racing with all the junior racers right into the single speed racers. So it's been a fun, like really hard day of racing.
Oh, now the traffic jam at the finish. I think that's actually the line for the beer garden at this point.
They're all ready.
I
don't doubt it.
If I know one thing about single speed racing, it's that there is beer consumed afterwards. So that may be what's happening.
The
here.
only endorsed recovery drink is definitely a beer.
Maybe even a couple during. I didn't really see any beer hand-ups. I don't know
well,
if that's...
those are legal. So
yeah.
That's how it goes.
All right.
Yep.
Just the dollar bills.
Yeah, they were too busy giving you money, so they couldn't
Glad
get you a beer.
Terry has now returned my $2 that he took away from me.
It looks like a few riders still on their way in here.
Yeah, when you've got over 100 of them, it's going to take a little while.
I think they did their best to try to keep as many riders on course as they could. All right, looks like Dave is going to try to get an interview with Jake Wells down here. Let's go right down to it, Dave, with our single speed men's winner.
Well, one nice thing about being with Jake Wells is you're not going to have any, you know what, you stay right with this young man. We'll grab a word with you as well. They were talking a lot about you, Anthony, during the webcast, so hang on. But let me get you out of the shot right now. We're going to give our national champion a moment. No, you're good. You stay with us. But, hey, how cool is this guy, huh? You got a really great group of gentlemen that you race with.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I was really looking forward to this race, you know, because of guys like Ant and Ben and, you know, Stefan DeVoust and just some good guys that are really fast. But all in all, it's an amazing category. It's amazing, you know, community of guys that come out here and want to, you know, kick each other in the teeth for an hour. So it's fun. It's really fun.
Yeah, it really does seem true. This is only fun if you have guys that are at your level that you can race with. It makes the wins that much sweeter. Talk about this one. You're third in a row now. Compare this to the others. Does it get better and better?
Oh, everyone's different. You know, every race is different. So, you know, this course, I love this course. It's super fun. It's really engaging. There's a lot of, you know, penalty for messing up lines. But then at the same point, reward. You know, that was all I was trying to do. Every lap was just be smooth. You know, you're so anaerobic going up those run-ups that the opportunity to mess something up is really high. So I was trying just to, you know, control my breath and really try to stay smooth. So, and it worked out.
It really, Jake, sounds like risk-reward ratio. You played your cards right by maybe having a conservative first half of the race and then letting the chips fall where they may?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I haven't raced Ben all year. He's been on the East Coast. I knew he was going well, and he's been doing a lot of single speed stuff. So I wasn't real sure, where he was going to be. And I had to ride my race for the first lap and just kind of settle into it. And, I had a bit of a pitting strategy with bikes with just a little bit different gearing. So just started to implement that and then just tried to stay patient with it and trust it, and it paid off.
In Louisville, an insane amount of running in the mud. This was a different kind of mud, wasn't it?
Different kind of mud, different kind of running. All the running here was straight uphill, super steep, so it's fast, choppy steps. Nothing where you could, elongate the stride like you could at Louisville. So, just trying to do quick feet and then again, like I said, just controlling your breath.
Talk to me about the dichotomy in this really unique single speed category. At the back of the group, you've got guys taking bacon hand-ups and donuts and dollar bills, and at the front, it's incredibly tactical racing. It's really an interesting mix, isn't it, with these, I think you had something like 80 starters.
Oh, I think we had 150.
Oh, excuse me, right. It was a huge field.
Yeah, and we were catching guys on our second lap. We were catching guys at the back of that field. So that's what's great about this single speed especially, is that you can come out here and you can, just party and have a good time and, get in an extra race on top of your other race. But I think that's what a lot of people do is like, hey, I'm going to be out there. I might as well add in a race. But then at the same time, at the front of the race, it's very serious. So.
There's our USA Cycling family, and then there's the Colorado group. The Colorado has some junior winners earlier today. You are now at the stature in that community as a godfather, I would say. Meredith Miller had some very nice things to say about you during the commentary. Collectively, Colorado comes away really shining at this Nationals. Talk about that, your region.
Oh, well, Colorado's always been a strong area, strong region for cycling, especially with cross, and they've been this hotbed for cyclocross for many years. We've had national championships in Boulder. So, I think you have these pockets of cross hotbeds, on the East Coast, Colorado, Ohio, River Valley.
And you're part of one of them.
It's amazing. It's awesome.
Thanks, Jake. That's Jake Wells, our three-time national single speed champion. Back to you, Brad and Tim. That's going to be it from the field here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dave. Jake Wells taking the win. Anthony Clark in second. Ben Frederick holds on to third. A great ride for him, all things considered, with the adversity that he had to deal with today. Stephen DeVos finds fourth. Andrew Cohen fifth. Andrew Loaiza in sixth, with Bradford, Guernsey, Vickery, and Patla rounding out your top 10. So congratulations to all of our new and returning national champions. A great day of racing at the 2019 USA Cycling Cyclocross National Championships from Lakewood, Washington. For my colleagues in the booth, Tim Johnson and Meredith Miller, Dave Toll out in the field. My name is Brad Soner saying thanks for watching. Don't forget, the coverage continues tomorrow. We've got U23, 17, 18 juniors, and elites racing tomorrow. The live stream starts tomorrow morning. We'll see you there.
Well, welcome everyone. We are here at the actual venue for the 2019 USA Cycling National Championships. Let me start by introducing myself. I'm Dave Toll, here with former national champion on the road, Cross Vegas winner, Meredith Miller. We have some exciting things to talk about with Boulder Junior Cycling and Meredith. And of course, superstar Molly Cameron, coming from Portland. Molly with the Point S Tire Nokian team. Welcome, Molly. And Becca Faringer. Becca coming from New Hampshire to race with us, and the Kona Shimano team.
Kona Maxxis Shimano.
Kona adding Maxxis tires as well. Well, let's jump right in there. Yeah, you were out just riding a moment ago. It's gotten dark very quickly here, but how is the course?
Hella sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost every nationals course that I ride becomes my favorite nationals course, but this has nothing that I dislike. So it has to be one of my favorites thus far. And at this point, I'm foreshadowing. But, at the time of airing, who knows
Yeah,
what
you
my
could
arm
be.
situation would be like.
Could be national. Wait, let's talk about that quick.